Many of you may think of it as a technique or a mental exercise, but I tell you now, living in the end is far more profound. It is the assumption of the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the embodiment of your desire as a present fact rather than a future possibility. The secret to instant manifestation lies in this simple yet powerful truth. Your imagination is the created power of the universe, and what you assume to be true will invariably manifest in your reality. This is not metaphor or allegory, but the very foundation of existence itself. You are not merely experiencing reality, you are creating it every moment to the power of your assumptions and beliefs. Now you might be wondering, Wayne, if this is true, why am I not already living my ideal life? And therein lies the crux of our discussion today. Most people live their lives in anticipation, always looking to the future for the fulfillment of their desires. They say, I will be happy when, or I will feel successful once. But in doing so, they push their desires perpetually into the future, never to be realized in the present moment. Living in the end, however, requires a fundamental shift in consciousness. It demands that you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Now, in this very moment, regardless of your current circumstances, it is the art of making your future dream a present fact in your mind, so convinced that it's reality that you has no choice but to conform to this illicit. You see, the world you experience is not happening to you. It is happening from you. Every circumstance, every event, every interaction in your life is a reflection of your inner state. These are not random occurrences, but they are picturing of your assumptions and beliefs. When you truly grasp this, you understand the immense power you hold to shape your reality. So how? We begin this process of living in the end. The first step is to clearly define your desire. What is it that you wish to manifest? Be specific. Don't simply say, I want to be successful. Instead, imagine in vivid detail what your life looks like when you are living your ideality. How do you feel? What are you doing? How do you? Your time, the more specific and detail your vision, the more real it becomes in your mind. Once you have this clear vision, the next step is to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is crucial. You must feel the reality of your desire now, not in some distant future. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand time. It only understands the present moment. So if you constantly feel that you're desired something in the future, it will always remain in the future. It's dead. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled now. How would you feel if your design were already realized? Would you feel joyful, confident, free, grateful? Embody these feelings live from this state of being. This is not pretending or lying to yourself. This is assuming a new state of consciousness, which is the very essence of creation. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Nebel, how can I feel something that isn't yet true? This is where the power of your imagination comes into play. Your imagination is the bridge between your current reality and your desired state. It is through your imagination that you can step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even before it manifests in the physical world. Your imagination is not a flight of fancy or a frivolous faculty. It is the very workshop wherein you fashion your future. When you imagine you are experiencing reality at its most fundamental level, you are engaging with the pure potential of consciousness, shaping it with your attention and your assumption to use your imagination effectively for living. In the end, you must first quiet your conscious mind, the chattering of your daily thoughts, your worries, your doubts. These must be silenced. Enter a state of relaxation, a state akin to sleep, but in which you remain consciously aware. In this state, your subconscious mind becomes more receptive to impression. Once in this relaxed state, construct your scene. This scene should be one that implies the fulfillment of your desire. If your desire is for successful career, you might imagine yourself in your ideal office or receiving congratulations from colleagues. If it's financial abundance, you imagine yourself looking at your bank statement with joy and gratitude. The scene itself should be short and simple. It's not about creating an elaborate story, but about capturing a moment that implies your desire is now a fact. This scene is your platform, the stage upon which you will enact the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Now step into this scene. Don't watch it as a spectator, but experience it from the first-person perspective. Be there in that moment. And as you experience it, let the feeling of fulfillment wash over you. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the satisfaction of having your desire realized. This is where many faltering their attempts at living. In the end, they can see the scene clearly, but they fail to evoke the feeling. Remember, it's a feeling that gives life to your imaginal acts. Without feeling, visualization is merely a mental exercise. With feeling, it becomes an act of creation. As you practice this, you may find that the feeling comes more easily with repetition. Each time you return to your scene, the feeling becomes more vivid, more real. This is good. You are strengthening the impression upon your subconscious mind. But here's a crucial point. Once you have evoked the feeling, once you have impressed it upon your subconscious, you must carry it with you into your waking life. This is where true living in the end begins. It's not enough to feel your desire fulfilled during your imaginal sessions. You must maintain this feeling throughout your day and every moment. To live in the end, to manifest instantly, you must maintain the feeling of wish fulfilled. Even in the face of contradictory evidence, this is where faith comes in, not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. When you truly grasp this, you will no longer be swayed by appearances. You will know that what you see around you is the effect, not the cause. The cause lies in your consciousness, in your feeling, and as you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, your outer world must reshape itself to match this inner conviction. What? Let us address a common challenge in living in the end, the apparent contradictions of your senses as you begin to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You may find that your current circumstances seem to contradict your assumptions. How do you maintain your feeling in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where the art of ignoring comes into play. To ignore is not to deny the existence of something, but to refrain from giving it your attention and energy. When contradictory evidence appears, acknowledge it briefly. Then immediately return your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remember, what you see in your outer world is the result of past assumptions, past feelings. It is like an echo, what you once believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new assumption than to these outdated circumstances. This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumption, even when your senses argue against it. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your feeling, shows you what would be. As you persist in maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small, a fortunate coincidence, an unexpected opportunity, a shift in someone's behavior towards you. Do not dismiss these as mere chance. They are the first fruits of your new assumption taking root. Now let us delve deeper into the nature of feeling and living in the end. When I speak of feeling, I am not referring merely to emotions. Though emotions play a part, I am speaking of a deeper sense, unknowing, an unshakable conviction. It is the difference between, say, I want to be successful, and knowing in the very core of your being, I am successful. This feeling, conviction, is not something you can fake or force. It arises naturally when you have successfully impressed your desire upon your subconscious mind. This is why the repeated use of your imagination is so crucial. Each time you return to your imaginal scene, each time you step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are deepening this impression. Think of it like wearing a groove in a record. The first time you play the record, the needle may skip and jump, but with repeated plays, the groove deepens and the music plays smoothly. Similarly, as you repeat your imaginal act, the feeling becomes more natural, more habitual. It becomes your dominant state. This is the state from which instant manifestation occurs, when you can maintain this feeling conviction throughout your day, when it becomes as natural as breathing. You have mastered the art of living. In the end, your outer world has no choice but to conform to this inner state. But one of those moments when doubt creeps in, when fear arises, when the old patterns of thought and feeling try to reassert themselves, these moments are inevitable, especially in the beginning of your practice. Do not be discouraged by them. Instead, see them as opportunities to strengthen your new assumption. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Fighting against a thought only gives it more power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your feeling of wish fulfilled. Remind yourself that what you see around you is the past. Your new assumption, your new feeling, is creating your. This brings us to another crucial aspect of living, the end. The concept of naturalness, living in the end, should not feel forced or strange. It should feel as natural as breathing. When you truly assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you don't constantly think about your desire or obsess over its manifestation. You simply live from the state of having it as if it were the most natural thing in the world. For example, if your desire is for financial abundance, you wouldn't constantly think about money or worry about bills. A wealthy person doesn't do that. Instead, you would feel the ease and security that comes with abundance. You would make decisions from a place of plenty rather than lack. You would carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their needs are always met. This naturalness is key to instant manifestation. When you can assume your desired state with such ease and conviction that it feels like your normal everyday reality, that's when the magic happens. That's when your outer world begins to shift rapidly to match your inner state. Now let us address the role of action in living in the end. Some people mistakenly believe that living in the end means they should sit back and do nothing, waiting for their desire to magically appear. This is not the case. Living in the end does not negate action, it informs action. When you successfully impress your desire upon your subconscious mind, when you truly feel your wish fulfilled, you will be inspired to take actions that align with this day. These actions will feel natural, even inevitable. They will not be driven by fear, lack, but will flow from your assumed state of fulfillment. This is a crucial distinction. When you take action from a place of lack, trying to get what you desire, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having it. But when you take action from the assumption of already having it in your desire fulfilled, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for its expression and expansion. So do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your assumed state. Let your feeling guide your actions rather than hoping your actions will create the feeling. This alignment of inner state and outer action is key to instant manifestation. Now let us explore the concept of detachment in relation to living in the end. The attachment doesn't mean you don't care about your desire. Rather, it means you're not anxiously attached to seeing immediate results or figuring out how your desire will manifest. When you're truly living in the end, you can imagine and feel your desire fulfilled without constantly looking for signs of its manifestation. You trust in the process, knowing that, as you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it must inevitably express itself in your outer world. Detachment allows you to live in the present moment while holding your assumed state. It frees you from the anxiety and doubt that can slow down the manifestation process. It allows you to enjoy the journey of manifestation rather than being solely focused on the destination. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your imaginal act imbued with feeling is the reality. What you see in the outer world is just a shadow or reflection of past assumptions. As you persist in your new assumption, this shadow must change to match the new reality you're imagining and feeling. Let us now address the importance of gratitude in living. In the end, gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion. It is a powerful creative force. When you feel genuinely grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the principle of living, the end, the game to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for your desire. Even before you see it manifested in your physical reality, be thankful for it as if it were already. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms. The air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has their desire fulfilled. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as the realization of your desire. This is another key to instant manifestation. Now let us explore the power of revision in living in the end. Revision is not merely about changing your memories or rewriting your past. It is about recognizing the past only exists in your mind, and therefore it can be changed in your mind. At the end of each day, take a few moments to review the events of your day. If there were any events that were not an item with your desired state, revise them in your imagination. See them unfolding in a way that aligns with your wish fulfilled. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the fulfillment of this revised version of events. By doing this, you are not denying what physically happened. You are changing the impact of that event on your subconscious mind. You are impressing upon your subconscious a reality that aligns with your desires rather than one that contradicts them. As you make this practice of revision a habit, you will find that your reactions to current events begin to change. You'll become less reactive, more peaceful, more aligned with your desired states of being. This alignment accelerates the manifestation process, ensuring that you are consistently living in the end. Let us now discuss the importance of persistence in living in the end. While we speak of instant manifestation, it's important to understand that the speed of manifestation can vary. Some desires may manifest almost instantly, while others may take more time to fully materialize. In your physical reality, the key is to persist in your assumption, regardless of how long it seems to be taking. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you're wavering, your assumption. If you lose faith in the process, you send mixed signals to your subconscious mind, which can slow down the manifestation process. Persistence doesn't mean forcing or struggling. It means consistently returning to feeling of your wish fulfill, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. It means choosing again and again to live from the end, to embody the state of having your desire realized. This persistence requires faith, not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state, and that as you persist in your new assumption, your world must reshape itself to match. Now let us address the role of self-concept in living in the end. Your self-concept, the belief you hold about who you are, is perhaps the most powerful factor in determining what you can manifest in your life. Many people struggle to live in the end because their self-concept contradicts the state they're trying to assume. They may visualize well, but deep down they don't believe they're the kind of person who can be wealthy. They may imagine a loving relationship, but fundamentally believe they're unworthy of love. To truly live in the end, you must be willing to revise your self-concept. This involves imagining and feeding yourself as the person who already has what you desire. It's not about creating a false image of yourself, but about recognizing and embracing your true, limitless nature. Remember, at your core you are pure consciousness. You are not defined by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. You are the awareness in which all these things. And this awareness, your true self, is infinite in its potential. As you use your imagination to assume your desired states, you are essentially recreating yourself. You are stepping into a new concept of self, a new understanding of who you are and what's possible for you. This revision of self-concept is crucial for living in the end. As you align your self-concept with your desires, you remove Adina contradictions that can slow down the manifestation process. Now let us explore the role of emotion in living in the end. Emotion is the fuel that powers your imaginal acts. It's not enough to merely visualize or think about your desires. You must feel them. When you combine vivid imagination with genuine emotion, you create a powerful impression on your subconscious mind. This is because your subconscious responds more strongly to feeling than to intellectual thought. The emotions you want to cultivate are those you would feel if your desire were already realized. If your desires for wealth feel the security, the freedom, the joy that comes with financial abundance. If it's a loving relationship you seek, feel the love, the connection, the companionship. These emotions should be so real, so intense, that when you open your eyes and return to your present circumstances, you carry with your sense of fulfillment, as if your desire has already been realized. This emotional component is what distinguishes effective living in the end from mere daydreaming or wishful thinking. When you can genuinely feel your desire as an accomplished, you are impressing it upon your subconscious mind as a reality. Your subconscious then works tirelessly to bring this feeling into physical manifestation, ensuring instant manifestation. As we near the conclusion of our exploration of living in the end, remember this. The power to manifest instantly lies within you. It resides in your ability to imagine vividly, to feel deeply, and to persist faithfully in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. The secret to instant manifestation is not determined by external factors, but by the intensity of your belief and the consistency of your imaginal acts. Go forth from here with this knowledge. Apply these principles in your daily life. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately to create scenes that imply the fulfillment of your desires. Feel the reality of your wish fulfilled with every fiber of your being. Persist in this feeling even when your senses deny it. For as you do, you are reshaping your entire world, manifesting your desires with the speed and precision that might seem miraculous to others. Remember, you are the operant power in your world. You are limited only by your ability to imagine and to feel the reality of your wishes fulfilled. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding and watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound mastery of your creative consciousness. Living in the end is not something external to you. It is not a technique or a trick. It is the fundamental truth of your being that you are the creator of your reality. As you align your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with this truth, you step into a state of continuous creation, of perpetual manifestation. In your daily life, be vigilant. Be conscious of your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions. Choose them wisely, for they are the seeds of your future experience. Let every thought be a thought of fulfillment, every feeling a feeling of accomplishment, every assumption an assumption of your wish realized, for in doing so you are creating a life of instant manifestation as you embark on this journey of living in the end, of instant manifestation. Know that you are aligning yourself with the very power that creates worlds. You are stepping into your divine birthright. As a co-creator of reality, embrace this power. Use it wisely and let it guide you to a letting the fulfillment and joy. Thank you. And may your journey of living in the end be filled with wonder, excitement, and the thrill of instant manifestation. Remember, the end you are living in is not a distant future, but a present reality in your consciousness from this moment forward. Live from that state, embody that reality, and watch as your world conforms to your empowered state of being. Go now and live in the end. All your desires fulfilled. For in that state you hold the key to instant manifestation, and the life be your wireless dreams. Let me begin by telling you that everything you see in your world, every circumstance, every relationship, every penny in your bank account is nothing more than your consciousness pushed out. There is no such thing as an external reality separate from your consciousness. The world you experience is a mirror reflecting back to you your own concept of self, your own understanding of the I am. Now, what do I mean by I am? This is the most crucial understanding you must grasp tonight. I am is God's name. When Moses asked, "Who shall I say sent me?" the response was, "I am that I am." This same I am dwells within you, and it is your true identity. It is not something separate from you. It is the very core of your being. But here is where most people go astray. They use this mighty I am unconsciously, attaching to it all manner of limitations and negative assumptions. They say, "I am sick, I am broke, I am unlucky," not realizing that they are using the creative power of the universe to establish these very conditions in their lives. Let me share with you a principle that will transform your understanding forever. Whatever falls, your I am becomes your reality. It is an immutable law, as certain as the law of gravity. When you declare I am, you are activating the creative power of God within you, and whatever you attach to that declaration must, by divine law, be made manifest in your world. Think about it. Throughout your day, how many times do you unconsciously make I am statements that contradict what you truly desire to be? Every time you say or think, "I am not good enough, I am struggling, I am confused," you are using the creative power of God to create those very conditions in your experience. But here is the wonderful news. You can consciously choose what you attach to I am. This is the mastery of mind we speak of tonight. You are not bound by your past, your current circumstance, or what others think of you. You are bound only by your concept of self, by what you accept as true about yourself. Let me give you a simple example. Suppose you desire financial abundance, but your current bank account shows lack. The natural tendency is to look at the bank account and say, "I am poor," or "I am struggling financially." But this is precisely backward. Your bank account is not the cause of your financial state. It is the effect of your consciousness about money. To change your financial reality, you must first change your concept of self regarding money. You must dare to declare I am wealthy even when your senses deny it. This is not lying to yourself. This is understanding the law of consciousness. Your external reality must conform to your inner conviction about who you are. Now, some of you might be thinking, "But Wayne, isn't this just positive thinking or self-deception?" No, my dear friends, this is far more fundamental than positive thinking. This is about understanding the nature of reality itself. Your consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being, you must become. This is not merely suggesting a change in thinking. It is revealing the law of transformation. When you change your concept of self, when you consciously choose what to attach to your I am, you are literally transforming your entire world. Let me share with you how to practically apply this law. First, you must understand that your imaginal acts are real acts. When you imagine yourself being what you desire to be, you are creating reality. Your physical reality must conform to your imaginal acts when they are persistent and felt with conviction. Here is a technique I have taught for years before you go to sleep at night. Create a scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. If you want to be wealthy, feel the joy and security of having abundance. If you want to be healthy, feel the vitality and strength in your body. If you want to be loved, feel the warmth of loving relationships. But when this is crucial, you must feel the reality of your imaginal act. It is not enough to merely visualize it. You must enter the scene completely, embodying the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the naturalness of being what you desire to be. The feeling is the secret. Remember, your consciousness is not confined to the boundaries of your physical body. Your consciousness is God, and God is not limited by space or time. Therefore, when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are actually experiencing that reality now, and your physical world must reshape itself to match your assumption. Let me give you another powerful technique for mastering your mind. Throughout your day, catch yourself whenever you make an unconscious I am statement. Become aware of how you are using this creative power. Then consciously choose different statements that align with your desires. Instead of saying, I am tired, say, I am vitality itself. Instead of saying, I am worried, say, I am peace. Instead of saying, I am lonely, say, I am infinitely loved. But remember, these are not mere affirmations. They are recognition of your true nature. When you say, I am wealth, you are not trying to convince yourself of something false. You are acknowledging the truth that you are the God power that creates all wealth. And therefore, wealth must be your natural state. Now, let's address the resistance that might arise in your mind. Your rational mind, based on past experience and current circumstances, might argue against your new assumptions. This is natural. But understand this, your rational mind can only draw conclusions based on the past. It cannot create anything new. Creation comes from consciousness, from the I am within you. When doubts arise, do not fight them. Simply return to your chosen assumption. If you have decided I am wealthy and thoughts of lack arise, gently but firmly return to your chosen state. Remember, what you persist in assuming must become your reality. This is law. Let me share with you a profound truth that many miss. The state you assume it persisted in will become so natural that it will become your predominant state. This is why many fail in their attempts to change. They try on a new state but abandon it before it becomes natural. They treat it as a temporary exercise rather than a new way of being. Consider a person learning to play the piano. At first, the movements are awkward, unnatural, but with persistence, what was once difficult becomes effortless. The same is true with your new concept of self. What feels unnatural at first will, with persistence, become your natural state of being. This brings us to another crucial aspect of mastering your mind, the importance of feeling. Your feeling about yourself is your real belief. You may declare with your lips, I am wealthy, but if you feel poor, it is the feeling that will manifest. Therefore, you must cultivate the feeling of your wish fulfilled until it becomes your predominant feeling. How do you do this? By living from the end, act as though you are already what you wish to be. How would you feel if you were already wealthy? How would you carry yourself? How would you think about money? Begin to embody these feelings and thoughts now, not as an act, but as a recognition of your true state. Remember the biblical injunction, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. The Christ mind is the awareness of being God in expression. It is the understanding that I am as God and that you can be anything you choose to be by consciously embodying that state. Now let me address a common misconception. Many believe that external actions are needed to create change. While action is not to be denied, it is not the cause of your good. Action follows being. When you truly assume a new state of consciousness, the appropriate actions will flow naturally from that state. For instance, if you truly embody the consciousness of wealth, you will naturally take actions that wealthy people take. You will see opportunities that were always there but were invisible to your previous state of consciousness. You will make decisions from a place of abundance rather than lack. This is why I tell you, change your concept of self and you change your entire world. Your outer world is nothing more than your inner world pushed out. There is no other creator in your world but your own wonderful human imagination. Let me share with you another powerful practice for mastering your mind. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, what am I conscious of being right now? This simple practice will make you aware of the state you are occupying. Remember, whatever state you occupy that you become, if you find yourself in an undesirable state, know that you have the power to move from that state instantly. Now, by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, if you are feeling lack, immediately assume the feeling of abundance. If you are feeling loneliness, immediately assume the feeling of being deeply loved. This is not denial of the current circumstances. This is understanding that circumstances do not create your reality. Your consciousness creates your circumstances. Therefore, to change any circumstance, change your consciousness first. After this, every moment of your life, you are choosing a state of consciousness. Most people choose unconsciously, reacting to circumstances and perpetuating the same patterns. But you, understanding this law, can choose consciously. You can choose what you wish to be regardless of what your senses tell you. This is the true meaning of free will. Your free will is not in controlling external events. It is in choosing what you wish to be conscious of. And since your outer world must conform to your inner assumptions, this is the ultimate power. Let me give you a practical exercise to strengthen this understanding. Tonight, before you sleep, review your day. Notice the various states you occupy. Were you conscious of being limited or unlimited? Were you conscious of being powerful or powerless? Were you conscious of being wealthy or poor? Then make a conscious decision about what states you choose to occupy tomorrow. Select the states that align with your desires. Prepare yourself into these states now. Fall asleep in the assumption that this is who you are. Remember, sleep is the time when your conscious and subconscious minds are most relaxed, most receptive to new impressions. What you impress upon your consciousness as you fall asleep will work throughout the night to create corresponding conditions in your life. Now let's address persistence. Many abandon their imaginal acts because they don't see immediate results. But understand this, the time it takes for your assumption to become your physical reality is proportionate to how natural the assumption feels. The more real and natural your new state feels, the quicker it will manifest. This is why I emphasize the importance of feeling. You must feel the reality of your new state now. Don't think of it as something that will be true in the future. Think of it as something that is true now. Consider that your physical reality is catching up to this truth. Consider the story of the prodigal son. He had to come to himself before he could return to his father's house. This is exactly what you do when you assume a new state. You are coming to yourself remembering who you really are, claiming your divine inheritance. Your divine inheritance is the power to be whatever you choose to be. This is not something you need to achieve. It is something you need to accept. You already are what you desire to be, but you must claim it in consciousness first. Let me share with you another powerful truth. Your world is your consciousness objectified. Everything you see, everyone you meet, every circumstance you encounter is yourself pushed out. Therefore, to change anything in your world, change yourself first. If you want more love in your world, become more loving in consciousness. If you want more success in your world, embody the consciousness of success. If you want more abundance in your world, expand your consciousness to include abundance as your natural state. This is the true meaning of seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto you. The kingdom of heaven is your own wonderful human imagination, your consciousness. When you seek first the right state of consciousness, everything else must follow. Remember, you are not working to make things happen. You are working to achieve a state of consciousness. Once the state is achieved, the things must happen, for that is law. As we near the conclusion of our discussion tonight, let me emphasize this point. You are not what you think you are, but what you think you are. Your concept of self is either limiting you or setting you free. Choose wisely what you wish to think about yourself. Every moment of every day, you are using the power of I am. Make it a conscious use. Don't let your I am be determined by circumstances, memories, or others' opinions. Choose what you wish to be and claim it now with your I am. The mastery of mind we speak of is really the mastery your I am. When you master this, you master your entire world, for there is no power outside of your own consciousness that can affect your life. Consider for a moment every time you say I am, you are literally moving through states of consciousness. These states are all present now, existing simultaneously like different channels on a radio. Your job is not to create these states, for they already exist. Your job is simply to tune into them through a wonderful humanization. Let me give you an example from my own experience. Years ago, when I was in Barbados, I met a young lady who desperately wanted to travel to America, but lacked the means. I taught her this very principle we are discussing tonight. I told her, instead of saying, I want to go to America, which implies lack of separation, assume I am in America. She didn't need to know how it would happen. Her only task was to persist in that assumption. You see, when you say I am, you are activating the very essence of God within you. This is why the Bible tells us, be still and know that I am God. This stillness is not physical stillness, but rather the quiet knowing that what you are assuming is already done. Think about this. Every great achievement in human history began with someone assuming I am. Before the Wright brothers flew, they first assumed I am capable of flying. Before Edison illuminated the world, he first assumed I am the one who will bring light. These were not mere positive thoughts. They were assumptions that carried the weight of reality and consciousness. Let me share another secret that few understand. The feeling of your assumption being realized is the real secret. When you assume I am wealthy, you must feel the relief, the security, the freedom that wealth brings. When you assume I am healthy, feel the vitality coursing through your body. These feelings are the prayer, and feeling is the secret. Many of you come to me and ask, but Wayne, how long must I persist in my assumption? And I tell you this, persist until your assumption feels more real to you than the evidence of your senses. When you can walk in the absolute conviction of your assumption, despite all evidence to the contrary, you have mastered the art of living. Consider the story of the prophet Elijah. When he prayed for rain during a devastating drought, he persisted in his assumption of rain until his servants are applauded the size of a man's hand. This is how you must persist in your assumption until you see the first signs of its manifestation in your world. But remember this, the signs follow they do not perceive. Too many of you are looking for signs before you will believe. This is backwards. You must first believe, which means to assume the feeling of you're fulfilled, and then the signs will follow as a matter of course. Let me share something profound about the nature of time in relation to your assumptions. When you assume a state, you are actually selecting it from the infinite states that already exist. It is like choosing a book from a vast library. The book already exists. You are simply selecting it through your attention and assumption. This is why I tell you that imaginal acts are real acts. When you imagine yourself being what you desire to be, you are actually experiencing that reality in a dimension just as real as this physical one. Your physical reality must then conform to match this imaginal act, for that is the law of consciousness. Consider how you wake up each morning. Before you even open your eyes, you remember who you are, where you are, and what your life situation is. But I tell you this, that remembrance is an assumption. You can, if you dare, assume a different state entirely. You can wake up remembering yourself as the person you wish to be. This is not fantasy or wishful thinking. This is the conscious use of the law that governs all manifestation. Your physical reality is nothing more than your assumptions crystallized. Change your assumptions, and you must change your world. Let me share another technique that I found particularly powerful. Throughout your day, whenever you catch yourself saying or thinking, I am faulted by something you do not wish to be, stop immediately. Cancel that assumption by declaring, that's not what I mean to assume. Then consciously choose a new assumption that aligns with your desires. This practice requires vigilance. You must become aware of your mental diet, of what you're feeding your consciousness through your I am statements. Just as you wouldn't knowingly eat poisoned food, stop poisoning your consciousness with negative assumptions. Remember the biblical story of Job. His trials didn't end until he changed his assumption about himself and his relationship with God. When he finally assumed his rightful place as blessed and prosperous, his fortunes were restored double. This is not just a story, it's a demonstration of the law we're discussing tonight. Your entire life is a series of assumptions crystallized. Look around your world right now. Everything you see, everything you experience was once just an assumption in your consciousness. The clothes you're wearing, the chair you're sitting in, the relationships you have, all were first assumed in consciousness before they became physical facts. This is why mastery of mind is so crucial. Your mind, through the power of assumption, is quite literally creating your reality moment by moment. Most people do this unconsciously, reacting to circumstances and perpetuating the same patterns. But you, armed with this knowledge, can do it consciously. Let me share something else about the nature of assumption. When you assume a state, you must give it all the tones of reality. You must live from that assumption as if it were already fact. If you assume wealth, begin to think from wealth, not of wealth. There's a crucial difference here. Thinking of wealth keeps it as something separate from you, something to be achieved. Thinking from wealth means embodying the consciousness of being wealthy now. How would you think if you were already wealthy? How would you feel? How would you act? Begin to live from that state now. Consider the biblical advice that the weak say, I strong. This is not suggesting self-deception. It's revealing the law of consciousness. When the weak assume I am strong, they are choosing a different state of consciousness, and their physical reality must come to this new assumption. This is why I emphasize the importance of your mental conversations. What do you say to yourself throughout the day? What do you assume about yourself in your internal dialogues? These mental conversations are crucial because they reveal what you're actually assuming about yourself and your world. Let me share another powerful technique for mastering your assumptions. Before any important event or interaction, assume it has already happened perfectly. Live from the end, feeling the satisfaction and joy of the perfect outcome. This is not wishful thinking. This is consciously creating your reality. Remember, the universe is infinite response. It can only respond to what you are conscious of being. If you are conscious of lack, it must provide experiences of lack. If you are conscious of abundance, it must provide experiences of abundance. This is law or not chance. When you truly grasp this principle, you will understand that there is no need to manipulate external circumstances. Your only task is to assume the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. The external circumstances must then rearrange themselves to match your assumption. Think about this every moment of your life. You are choosing a state of consciousness. Most people choose unconsciously based on habits of thought and past experiences. But you understanding this law can choose consciously. You can choose what you wish to be regardless of what your senses tell you. This is why I tell you that your imagination is God in action. When you imagine yourself being what you desire to be, you are actually experiencing that reality now. Your physical reality must then conform to match this imaginal experience. Consider how you fall asleep each night. The last assumption you hold as you drift off to sleep is particularly powerful, for it works throughout your sleep to create corresponding conditions in your life. This is why I emphasize the importance of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled as you fall asleep. Let me share another profound truth about the nature of consciousness. Your consciousness is not confined to your physical body. Your consciousness is infinite, unlimited, unbounded. Therefore, when you assume a state, you are not reaching for something outside yourself. You are selecting from the infinite states that already exist within your own consciousness. This is why the Bible tells us that the kingdom of heaven is within. All states of consciousness exist within you now. Your task is not to create them, but to select them through your power of assumption. Remember, your world is yourself pushed out. Everything you experience is your consciousness objectified. Therefore, to change anything in your world, you must first change your consciousness. This is the true meaning of mastering your mind. Let me give you another technique for maintaining your desired state. Throughout your day, ask yourself, if I were the person I want to be, how would I see this situation? How would I react? What would I think? Then assume that consciousness now. This is not pretending or acting. This is understanding that all states exist now, and you are choosing which state to occupy. Just as you can move from one room to another in a house, you can move from one state of consciousness to another through your assumption. The mastery of mind we speak of tonight is really the mastery of assumption. When you master your assumptions, you master your world. For there is no power outside of your own consciousness that can determine your experience. Your life is a series of states, and you are always in a state. The question is, are you choosing your states consciously, or are you being chosen by your habits of thought? The mastery comes in conscious choice, in deliberately assuming the state that aligns with your desires. Remember this, the whole vast world is yourself pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every event in your world is yourself pushed out. Therefore, to change your world, change yourself. Choose what you wish to be and claim it with your I am. As we conclude tonight, I want you to grasp this final truth. You are not what you think you are, but what you think you are. Your concept of self is either limiting you or setting you free. Choose wisely what you wish to think about yourself. Go forth tonight with this knowledge. Apply it consistently. Watch your world transform as you transform your concept of self. For you are indeed what you choose to be, and that choice is made in consciousness first and last and always. Practice this law. Prove it to yourself. Choose a new concept of self tonight. Feel its reality. Live from that assumption. Watch the miracles unfold in your life. For in mastering your mind through the power of assumption, you master your entire world. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. Master your consciousness, and you master your world. For you are indeed what you choose to be, And that choice is made now, in this moment with your wonderful human imagination. Thank you all, and good night.